Hi, second graders. It's Mrs. Briggs here with Module 2, Lesson 14's Deep Dive. Today you will need your blue student workbook. Today we are going to talk about the vocabulary word tragedy. Repeat after me, tragedy. Think back to some of the challenges the pioneers faced on the Oregon Trail. Are these problems all the same? Which are bigger challenges and which are smaller challenges? A Frayer model, as you see in the middle of the screen here, is a tool for helping to learn a new word. Tragedy is written in the center of the Frayer model, and you actually have this page in your blue book. So you can open up to handout 14A so you can see what I am talking about here as well. Tragedy means an unfortunate event. Some of you may have seen Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. There were many unfortunate things or different tragedies that occurred in the book and in the series on Netflix, if you've seen it. We are going to write what tragedy means in the definition box. So that's our top left box right here. It says definition. So go ahead and write down an unfortunate event. Unfortunate event. Many of you probably have heard the word tragedy used in situations that are not very good. Some bad things happen, sad things happen. They're all just very unfortunate. What other facts or characteristics do you know about tragedies? Can you think of any tragedies that have occurred in Journey of a Pioneer? Were there any moments that you read and you thought, oh no, that's really horrible? Let's jot some of those responses in the characteristics box on your page, handout 14. So it says characteristics in the top right. We are going to add some other facts that were just really horrible circumstances that happened on their journey on the Oregon Trail. You can take out Journey of a Pioneer to revisit some of those. I will also show you some examples here in a minute. I'm going to skip down to just that top part with characteristics. So we can add serious. These are serious events that happened. They're not things to laugh about. They were sad. Olivia in the story was very sad about these unfortunate events, these tragedies. The people affected by them were very sad, and you might even feel sad when we read about them. They're negative, they're hard, they're difficult, and they're challenging. These are all different characteristics of a tragedy. There are 6 characteristics listed here. I want you to choose at least 3 to add to your page. If you're up for a challenge, write all 6. If you need more time, pause the video to jot these down. Let's think about what a tragedy is and what a tragedy is not. So examples of tragedies and not tragedies. For example, it is a tragedy when someone gets struck by lightning. It is not a tragedy when you come up to a steep mountain. It would be a tragedy if your wagon broke and rolled all the way down the mountain and crashed. It would not be a tragedy to make it to the top of the mountain. As you can hear in those examples, tragedies are really horrible events. They're just unfortunate. We are going to complete handout 14. You can look in the text for more examples of things that are tragedies, some really unfortunate things that happened to the pioneers on their journey. Think back to the pages that talked about crossing the river and what happened with the strong currents. And just non-examples that are not tragedies, things that weren't bad that happened. Pause the video here to find some examples on your own. Here are some examples of what you could have. So we wrote the definition together. Our word, again, in the middle here is tragedy. Then we wrote the definition, which is an unfortunate event. We wrote at least 3 of the characteristics. And here are some examples of tragedies that occurred. So cowboys falling from their horses, losing everything you own in the river when the wagons got tipped over, drowning in a river crossing. Those are all tragedies. They're serious, they're sad, they're negative, they're difficult, they're challenging. Now, non-examples, things that are not tragedies, Olivia missing Lizzie. Yes, it might make her a little sad, but it's not as serious as a tragedy. Eating and dancing at the end of the journey, well, that's not negative or difficult or challenging, so it's a non-example. And then walking 15 miles a day. That might be a little tiring, but it's not a tragedy. If you were struggling to find some examples on your own, you can add some of these from the screen here and pause the video if you need to. If you have completed handout 14, you are done with the deep dive today. Thank you for doing your best and have a wonderful rest of the day.